All right, another episode of Wino with Rhino today. Just to remind you, one or two people that are watching this, we always have a special guest, and really there's no rules, no real structure to it. The framework is we're about to dive into a drink that maybe connects us in some way. We're going to talk about that a little bit.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah, drink some really cool vino today, and then get into our connection. Like, what's brought us together? What do we have in common? What are the things that we both get passionate about? What makes us friends and want to spend time together, kind of thing. And more importantly, I've had great fortune of having awesome people in my life, and I like to share that. I've learned a lot from you, and you have a lot to offer out there as well. So there's just yet another avenue for your story to be heard, kind of thing.
Nicest thing you've ever told me in
Oh,
person.
I'm about to make you very uncomfortable by just saying profusely nice things to
Okay.
you. I'll go back to
like-
being mean to you after.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, actually, I'm a little more uncomfortable with the nice
I
things.
know,
Okay,
I
there we
know.
go.
So again, very special guest today, Miss Melissa Terito. She's got an unbelievable resume, so we had to type notes because I couldn't actually. I learned some of this stuff just reading it. So I'm going to go through it. Anything that I say wrong, which is highly likely, just go ahead and correct me. This does not capture everything about you, but this I thought was quite impressive. So Melissa is currently Faulk Winkler, so the head of Sentinel of
Yes,
Faulk Winkler is
yes.
the pension portion of
Correct.
Faulk Winkler, correct? Faulk Winkler being a CPA firm here in town. Started there in 2009 as an intern.
Sure did.
Beautiful. Promoted to a partner in 2016. Her focus has been to provide consultative services to the public and deliver the highest level of services to clients. As a partner at Sentinel Pension, she plays a key role in their division dedicated to retirement plans.
Correct.
Beautiful.
That makes me sound super boring, but trust me, I'm not.
It does
Just, I need to tell
it does make you sound pretty boring.
It does, but engineers have a tendency to also sound boring.
Yeah, I'm not judging you.
Okay.
You also serve on the B1 Bank Foundation Board and the St. Joseph's Academy Foundation Board.
I just rolled off St. Joseph's Academy, but I was on that one for 6 years.
Nice.
And I taught at St. Joseph's Academy as well.
Yes. So Melissa also has a problem saying no, i.e. she's on my podcast against her will. But she's always volunteered and just does amazing work, whether it's charitable or helping other business owners, things like that. You're also a member of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants.
Whew, I know, AICPA.
Yeah. ASPPA Annual Conference Planning Committee.
Yeah,
There's a lot going on here.
also said one thing I didn't say no to soon enough. Go ahead, proceed. Yeah. I give a keynote on boundaries.
Yeah, you did. We're going to get to that in a second. She is a 2017 graduate of the BRAC leadership class and has previously served the board treasurer of the Safety Place and the Gardier Community Christian School. She was also a board member of Adult Literacy Advocates. You really don't say no.
Okay, that was, keep in mind, it's a journey. This is a journey, but those were all past tense. So
Melissa also serves. Melissa also serves as co-chair of the WIPN.
Whipping. That actually, chapter. I just recently said no to that. Okay.
In 2020, Melissa started a podcast, Louisiana Ladies, where she speaks to local, mostly female members of the Baton Rouge community, many entrepreneurs, and some domestic engineers. I have not graduated to a level of importance to be invited on Melissa's podcast, but she's on mine. If that gives you any indication of where we're at in
You'll
society.
Be on my new one.
In 2022, Melissa began her public speaking debut about boundaries in the workplace, something she's very passionate about and has curated talking points on. So she actually came to our group. We have an advisory group that Melissa and I are in together, and she just gave her presentation. It is quite wonderful and something that, especially in today's society, fast-paced, a lot of social media, we're capable of doing so much more now. So it's really about defining your day and having control of your day and then educating the people in your world to how they need to manage you and work with you, right? So you can be as effective as possible. Is at least a portion of it. It covers a lot more than that, but that was a big takeaway for me. And by the way, little plug for her there. This applies to whether you're an intern, you're a garbage man, or you run a Fortune 500 company. Those boundaries apply across the spectrum. So really well done. So Louisiana State University grad in 2005 with a degree in education after 4 years of teaching high school math. She said, that is not the life for me. Returned to LSU part-time to pursue accounting. As mentioned before, she was hired at Faulk Winkler as an intern in the pension department and completed the courses to sit for the CPA exam. She received her CPA designation in 2012. Did I leave anything out?
No, that's great. Are we done?
Yeah. So yeah, I just
That
wanted.
kind of wore me out, and it was about
Yeah.
myself.
No, it's obviously awkward to just read off a sheet of paper, but I think it does speak to just your drive and just level of engagement. You have a growth mindset, and to me, that's always been part of the thing. Our paths have always crossed, and you handle our pension plan here at Sigma, obviously. You're good friends with Janae. Just there's so much like-mindedness in terms of not only the drive and passion to do great work, take care of clients, but also pay it forward, just to help other people.
Yeah.
Right. And that really has become thematic with the guest on this show is we kind of get geeked up on how we can take this offer and gift that we've been given and use it for good, right?
Yeah,
and put it
definitely.
out in the world. And so you have always blown me away with your level of energy and ability to reach so many things and sit on so many boards, and you're just so active. And as a hyperactive person, I watch you and I'm like, damn, I need to work harder.
And I think the same about you sometimes. I feel like you do a lot more than I do, Robbie. So
I don't know. I do fun stuff like card shops.
that's true. That's true. I do practical things.
Yeah, the practical's lame. So the alcohol I picked out for us today, I know you're a vino gal.
Yes.
This is Olivier wine. So
Okay.
this is my wine.
Okay.
We've talked about it plenty on here, so everybody knows about it. Have you ever actually had this?
I don't know if have we opened one of these bottles when we've had our advisory meetings? You know, when things would get tense and you were like,
did.
we need wine. And we were like, yes, we do. And you would go get some wine.
Yeah, we did. That was this.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
You've had it. So
I've had
cheers.
it. Yes, cheers.
Thank you for coming
yes, thank
on
you.
my podcast.
It is delicious.
Neck
It has
rib-
been a while since we've had to crack one of these open, though, at an
neck rib
advisory
guts.
meeting.
That's 2020. That's not even the most recent vintage.
Oh, okay.
So it's aged.
Okay.
Lucky you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just lucky to be here.
So would this be your drink of choice? Like if you're going to a nice dinner, are you drinking a cocktail? Are you in vino?
So here's my problem with the cocktail. I drink it too fast because what I really want is wine. So in my brain, I want a cocktail and I want to sip on like a martini, and I really like a martini just like straight up with no olive juice, like no dirt in it. But the problem is like I start to drink it and then I love wine. Like it might be I love wine. So I drink the martini really fast and then I go to wine and then I'm like, oops. So the wine that I normally drink is a Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
But this is great red. It is.
I mean, I hate red wine, but thanks.
No, I don't hate red. I actually.
We drink red wine together.
I used to
multiple
own. For some reason, I really enjoy drinking red wine with other people. I feel like if I open a bottle at my house, my husband doesn't really drink it, and then I either have. There's one of two options. I have to not open the bottle or kind of drink the whole thing because it doesn't
you're not a
really
savage.
stay right. So that's really part of it. Why I end up not drinking.
I wonder if, like for me, the Sauvignon Blanc is a little bit easier to drink too. Like this is bold, it's got a
Yes.
lot going on, and it's
Yes.
heavy, and it's 100 degrees outside.
Yes.
So it's,
I love a good red, especially when I can sit on my patio with my fire pit on when it's cold and crisp outside.
oh yeah.
But this
Absolutely.
is the perfect temperature, though. It is chilled to perfection.
Oh,
I have to tell you that.
I'm glad.
And it's
you're
very
enjoying
smooth.
it. Thank you.
So
let's start with what you actually do as your main occupation, which is running Sentinel.
right.
So if you could just give us a little bit of an overview of what actually that is, what that service is, what your offer is, and then I would actually love to get into a little bit of your journey from intern to that because it's a fascinating and compelling journey.
Oh, Well, thank you. So Sentinel is the third-party administration practice. That's a division of Faulk Winkler. I mean, as much as I try to make it sound like it's super fun and I love it and I'm passionate about it, it's hard for me to really pump people up. But really what we do, the reality is we service about 300 clients, employer-sponsored 401k plans. But when people always ask what makes you different from other third-party administrators, because it's kind of like CPAs, there's a lot of them out there, and you have to really set yourself apart. And I always tell people this is going to sound like the simplest thing, but we really just care. We care about our clients. We care about our work product. I think sometimes I care about the client's 401k plan more than they do because it's just foreign to them, and the business owners and HR directors that we work with have a lot of they have a lot of other things on their plate. And the 401k plan, I remember whenever 401k plan's complicated, and when I first interviewed with David Winkler, and I was like, I was looking for a change, and while I like teaching, and we can talk a little bit about that later, the quadratic formula is only going to get so exciting. I mean, you just really can't change it. It's a formula, all right? So I told him that I wanted every day to be different, and I was looking for a challenge. And he said, yes, you're going to get that in this particular area. I had no idea what I was doing, but that's pretty much it. Now, I will say that my role has evolved probably over the past 3 or 4 years, where 90% of my time was really at Sentinel and growing Sentinel to what it is today and consulting with clients. Now I'm more like almost 40-60, like 40% on Sentinel and more of the Sentinel sales and the TPA sales side. And then 60% is with Faulk Winkler. Not doing traditional CPA work, more of the operations and working alongside our managing partner to run that practice.
Okay. So,
and I also feel like all I do all day is tell people what to do and answer questions and make decisions.
Before I knew what you did, I knew you did that for a living. It was just tell people what to do.
That's really what I do. I tell people what to do, and I make tough decisions. Yeah. That's really what we want.
It's beautiful. So I'm always curious how people wind up in these positions. So bring us back to you're an intern and you're told, okay, you want something different every day. You want to be challenged. You don't want to formulaic and uber repetitive. Mr. Winkler tells you you're going to have that here. Were you thinking back then that, okay, well, one day I'm going to run this place or have an opportunity to? So what came up for you then? And then as things evolved, when did you start to think, hey, either I've got a calling for that or there's an opportunity I could step into there? What made you go the route of management and ultimately leadership and ownership and actually running the whole thing?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, no, I absolutely did not. I mean, I didn't even know what a partner in a CPA firm was when I first started. I remember my first day, I was surprised they gave me a desk. Like, I guess I thought they were just going to give me like a little TV tray. I have no idea. So I get this like workstation. It's like a desk with drawers. And I'm like, oh, this is cool, a computer. I mean, I came from a teaching background when we really didn't have a desk. It's a different, when you're a teacher, your mindset's in education and a day-to-day life of a teacher, which is different than a business setting. Yeah, I've experienced both, and it just is. And so really, I joke with people, and I don't know if the people that we hire now and they see me in this position honestly believe me, but for the first 2 years of my career, all I tried to do was not screw something up bad enough to where I got fired.
Really?
That was literally, I was just like, just come in and do the best thing you can. Now, I had no idea anything about the 401k world. So it was, and I was going back to school. So I was working and I had to take about, I think I had to take close to 60 more hours at LSU before I could sit for the CPA exam, which took me 2.5 years. So my head was kind of buried in the technical aspect of technical aspect of the work. And I do remember thinking at one point, there's somebody that still works for us. She's great. She's the one who handles your plan. Great at the technical aspect of it. I mean, she's going to dig, she's going to reconcile, she's going to do all the things. And I remember thinking, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Like sit here and do that. At one point I realized that I'm a people person. And so, well, I mean, I knew I was a people person. I couldn't figure out how I could be a people person in this career at first. But I specifically remember I used to sit outside of David Winkler's office. So he had a corner office and we had, workstations kind of in the middle of the office. And I would hear him talk to clients and he would say things like, have you had the pork chops at Portobello's or something like that? And I'm like, why is he talking to them about pork chops? Aren't we supposed to be like super smart? And it's that is what made me realize that this is a relationship business. And if I'm good at something, it's relationships. And the technical piece of it, people can learn that, and I could have learned that, but that just wasn't really going to be my calling. So as much as it pains me, I have to give a lot of credit to David Winkler, truthfully. And I say that kind of jokingly, but he was a great mentor and advocate for me. I can tell you he saw a path for me I didn't see for myself. He had told me probably like year 3 or 4, we went to lunch. He used to just come and grab me and take me to lunch. And he had told me, he was like, you and Patrick, my husband, y'all need to be prepared to both be business owners one day. And I'm like, me? I don't even know what that means. And so I don't know if I would be in this position without him pushing me and advocating for me. I think I had a natural ability to do it, but I definitely did not see that in myself.
So you have that conversation. He has that level of insight. So you've got this mentor that's well respected. You probably somewhat have him on a pedestal. Yeah, please help yourself. I'm curious. Now your brain's going, okay, well, and I know you're a grinder and a researcher. So at some point you're like, well, let me go figure out what I can about what does it mean to own a business,
Right.
or what does it mean to be in these positions. What were the first, I guess, realizations of fear you had, especially as you started to get opportunities in leadership? Were there any original roadblocks or struggles where you're like, okay, shit, I really need to figure out if I want to keep going down this path?
Yeah. I would say that, so I became a director in our firm in 2013. So 4 years into it was really when I got accelerated to leadership. Now, truthfully, David had run the 401k practice. He needed a successor, or he was going to have to sell that area of the practice, which I still think to this day he's like proud of himself a little bit for hiring me. So.
Well, you should be. Dang.
But I don't like to give I don't like to give him that satisfaction. I still talk to David probably 3 or 4 times a year, but. Anyway, when I became a director, and this is where this is honestly, Robbie, where I've gotten passionate about the whole boundaries thing and leadership. Because when I became a director, I just like threw myself. I was like, I'm going to be the best boss that I can possibly be. I'm going to be there for everyone. And then I quickly realized I'm going to literally kill myself from the stress or something like that if I can't figure out how to build a team of people around me. And it took me a little bit to realize and to be humble enough to say I need to hire people that, one, aren't like me. I had a tendency, originally I'd build a team that were very extroverted and very talkative, and they were great, but guess what? We were not getting a lot done. We were getting enough done, but we were not getting a lot done, and they had a hard time figuring things out themselves. And again, they were just a lot like me, and I'm probably ADD at some particular point. So that was a huge learning curve for me because I gravitate towards people like me. So I wanted to hire people like me, and then just the realization of how do I hire someone or hire a team and grow them to be the next Melissa. Or grow them to where I don't need to be involved in the day-to-day. And that is still something that I work on, honestly, today. I think when you care so much about something, there's just such an amount of care and passion for what you do. And there's sometimes leaders, we get in our own way, thinking we can do it the best, and it has to come through us. And then people can really surprise you whenever you push them. So that was a roadblock. Little bit of a roadblock.
Yeah, and it's fascinating. And I think the more I study other leaders and successful people or people I admire, there's a lot of similarities in all of our journeys, right? You used one word there that really resonated with me, was you had to become humble enough. Because it's kind of a twisted way philosophically to look at things. Like, okay, you're a driven person, you've earned your opportunity to get into a leadership position. Well, with that, you have to have self-confidence, and then you kind of have to have this fake it till you make it confidence too. Like, oh, no, just y'all watch, I should be in this position kind of thing. For me, I went too extreme with that, and so I was perceived as arrogant, and I probably was condescending because I thought that's what I should portray to earn it with people. The irony was, where I really earned stripes with people was through humility. right? And just being honest and vulnerable. And to this day, sometimes I still struggle with that. But I think at the heart of every great leader that I know and respect is that humility and that profound appreciation of just how hard this is and how difficult human beings are,
Yeah.
right? And I think we all have different obstacles on our path. I've always been curious about this with you. We talked about it lightly before, but in accounting and engineering, incredibly male-dominated industries, especially in southern Louisiana. So you didn't mention it, but I am curious, as you continued to evolve, did you find that was a real or a perceived threat or challenge for you to overcome? Just, hey, you're a bunch of dudes in a locker room and I'm the chick over here. Were those obstacles you felt like you had to overcome in a bigger way, and were they real to you or were they perceived issues for you?
Probably 50-50. Some were probably perceived and some were probably real. I didn't ever feel like my career, didn't have a trajectory because I was a female. Actually, if I'm going to be honest, I felt like it put me at an advantage.
Really?
Yes, I do. I really do. And I don't know if that's because of the male colleagues or referral sources that I surround myself with. And I'm very kind of picky with who I like to work with, just to be honest. I'm really not going to work with somebody, male or female, that's disrespectful to me or my staff. But both David Winkler and Tommy Lejeune, our current managing partner, have always supported me. So I can't say that. It doesn't mean that we didn't have challenges along the way, but I always knew that I was going to have their support. But are there challenges? There just sometimes are. Again, really hate to give David all this credit. Hope he never listens to this. But, one of the things that David told me is, and whenever I became a director, so when you become a director at our firm, you're on a leadership team, you were in the partner meetings at that point. And the first year or two, believe it or not, I didn't say that much because I was still trying to figure out where was my place. But one of the things he always told me is, Melissa, when you have a conviction for something, don't leave this room without saying it. Don't leave this room without saying it. And look, we're both the same Enneagram, right? Aren't we? 8s? Okay. 8s have the challenger. It's not that I don't care what people think, but if I am passionate and convicted about something, like I have a conviction about it, I'm going to stand up for what I believe is right. So, I could see where other females could have some challenges along the way. I mean, at the end of the day, we have a pretty good, cohesive partner group. Again, not without its challenges. I probably drive some of them insane when I say things that I say. So that, it's challenging. I mean, when I tell people I'm the only female partner in this firm, they're like, oh, that sounds like a full-time job. I'm like, it is. It is. It's like herding cats, okay? But, most of the time they respect the fact that I can make a decision or have the hard conversations that they might not want to have. And then I work with a bunch of financial advisors, and that's also a very male-dominated field. And then to top it off, when I play pickleball with my dad and his group, it's a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, I'm the only girl. We played last Friday. I was like, we had to take a picture. It was me and 9 guys. It looks like me and my partners. I'm the only girl. I'm in the center. I'm the queen. I joke that I'm the queen, and the queen gets what the queen wants, the queen gets. Let's just be honest. So I do think that sometimes I really think that sometimes it can be an advantage as well.
That's fascinating. I've never heard that before from you. That's really cool. Because, I mean, as you know, I have 2 daughters, and they are now 15 and 13, so they only speak to me with pure sarcasm.
Right, exactly.
Like there's never any
Dad.
genuine conversation right now. I got lectured last night, oh, I know I'm not a victim, Dad, because that's what I've always preached. Because I have an older son, too. He heard the same things. But anytime they bring up the whole, it's because I'm a girl thing, I'm like, what? And of course, I'm not a girl, and I have to go ask Janae, like, is this something I should steer clear of? Like, I don't know how to handle this one.
Yeah.
But quite honestly, it is people like you that I want them to be around and look up to, because everything I just heard, there were no excuses. And yes, we all have our own obstacles, whatever the hell they are, but I didn't hear any excuses. They're just obstacles that you had to overcome to get to where you wanted to go. And I think that's also what makes you so powerful, and that you can speak with great authority when you're giving a presentation to a room, that you've lived it. Like, it is real. It's very authentic. Just the comfort you have in your own skin and ability just to speak to, this is my story.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I think that's what makes those so impactful. too. You've lived it.
Oh, yeah.
You've tested it.
Well, and I tell some stories in there that also it's pretty vulnerable. You know, I mean, I literally started crying in front of Casey on my team. You know, like not exactly my finest moment. I was not having a good day that particular day, but I think that I think people appreciate when you're in leadership, when you're a business owner, when the perception, you know, there's pictures of you probably in Business Report, or, you know, we go to these events and we look really put together. And for the most part, we probably are, but we're still going to have bad days. And we're still, I might not doubt myself as much as what I used to. Age and experience has given me a lot of confidence. But yeah, there's still days where I'm like, this is a lot to do, and I don't know how I'm going to do it all. You know,
Yeah.
or I've let somebody down, or whatever it is. And so I think that honestly, employees appreciate. I mean, I'm not going to walk into the office crying every day, but I think they can appreciate, like, she's a real person and she's going through something. And so we actually had in 2023 a longtime employee of ours passed away pretty suddenly. Had a few health issues, but we didn't think any of them were going to be necessarily life-threatening. And I mean, when I got the call from her husband and we were in a partner meeting, and he said, "I need you to prepare that she is not going to make it through the night." I mean, there was no way I could pull myself together. And we went back to the office, and the whole firm saw that, you know, and Tommy Lejeune just did a great job. He was like, "Can you talk to the firm?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. You're going to have to talk to the firm." But they saw that. But I just think that just shows, like, I have feelings. Like, I have people that I deeply care about, you know, and it's easy to forget that about leaders in a lead. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily thought that when I started as an intern, because they just seemed like unstoppable, and you're a partner. What could you possibly go wrong, you know? So I think it's okay to be like that.
Yeah, and you're saying something that I feel very deeply about here. I think a difference maker for Sigma is, bottom line is, we care. I can go into all the quality things and the way we build relationships and all that, and those are all great and they're real. But at the end of the day, we care, and that's what I want the client to feel. That's what I want our employees to feel, because we actually do care to that level. And honestly, I think if that's authentic and you actually care and that's your leadership style, you can go anywhere with that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think people can tell when you don't care.
Yeah.
I think with Sigma, I think it is really special that what you guys have grown to, and it's still very obvious that you care.
I appreciate
with
that.
the number of people that y'all have.
Well, and it's funny. I mean, I don't want to really focus on Sigma. I want to focus on you and Sentinel, but it gets challenged with every stage of growth,
Yes.
right? And
You've mentioned that before.
yeah, and look, and just to be clear, Sarah, I just looked at Sarah. Melissa and I have shared a lot. We're in this advisory group together that I put together.
I've cried in the advisory group.
Yeah, we've had tears. We've had tears.
There's been tears and wine.
Yes.
Tears and then wine. Probably should have been wine and then tears, but it's fine. Next time.
So we have a coach that facilitates that. Amy Horn does a great job, and we have just wonderful people that we put in that group together. And there's also a subgroup. I say subgroup; it's just another group. But we get together. We've all developed this bond with our group, and the purpose of that group is, when you're in these types of positions that we're in, as much as you love your people, they can't possibly relate to your day to day.
They cannot.
And also, you don't want to put things on them
Correct.
that really isn't their job to take on. And so the fact that we have each other and other wonderful people in there that we can share things with, the irony is we're all from different industries, but we all have the same issues.
Yeah, and that doesn't even matter when we get in the room.
It really doesn't, right? And I don't talk about engineering. You don't talk about accounting. Sheriff Art ain't talking about police work unless he's telling us some awful thing that happened that day that he didn't
And
deal
then we're
with.
like, was our day really that bad? I don't
Right.
think it was.
None of our employees were shot today,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Puts it in perspective.
Yeah. But I do, if you are watching this or listening to this, and you're either an entrepreneurial mind, or you already are, you're in a leadership position, if something I implore you, two things that Melissa's brought up is, one, find a mentor.
Absolutely.
Find somebody, it can be in your organization or in your industry or completely unrelated. Go get a coach. I cannot stress enough. I'm so passionate about it. We literally started an advisory group to where we can help each other. And then also just surround yourself with the best and smartest people you can that will absolutely be fearless in disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and the reality is that you can't do it by yourself. and you need to be challenged. I think that's one thing that I really like about that group. We all challenge each other. Like, we're all very honest, but you need to be challenged, in multiple ways. But you have to have a network and a supportive people behind you. You just cannot do it yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you're relatively young,
Thanks.
relative to me.
I mean, oh, that's right. We had that whole discussion
We did,
last
where you
time.
thought I was 87.
Yeah, sorry. I thought Janae was way younger than she was. I was very confused. We're not going to bring it up. It's a sore subject.
Apparently, I need to start dyeing my beard.
I needed to put my foot in my mouth, and it didn't.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. No, I cried. Literally, I got home. This is terrible. Started working out, losing weight, but you sent me on this whole path. It's cool.
Made him spiral. Robbie gets triggered on certain things, and I get triggered, and then we both spiral. It's just the way it works. They're totally unrelated things, but we both can spiral.
Fair. That's fair. I don't even know what the hell my question was now.
What was your question?
You got me all up in my head.
We were talking about having a group of people behind you. You can't do it on your own. Challenge. I knew it was going to come.
Yeah, so, and I'm not going to reveal anything you don't want to, because a lot of our conversations have been in confidence. But what I will say is this: you have a plan for yourself and your future with your husband and all those things. How do you determine, okay, I've got to this position, I am successful, which so many people will look at you and go, wow, how do I get there? And what they don't realize is you spend a pretty good amount of time going, how do I get out of here, right?
Yeah.
And so at what point, when you became a partner, you have ownership, you're in charge, did you start thinking about, what is the next chapter for me? What is the timing of it? How do I transition? What is my succession plan? And then what is life after that? Walk us through, do you have any process for that?
Yeah, so Patrick's my husband, we've talked about for a very long time. Now, we don't have children, so we just don't have the expenses of children. I'll just put it to you like that. So from a financial planning standpoint, that might be different, might not. I don't know, since we don't have children. But we had always kind of halfway joked that we wanted to retire by the time we were 50. So that little, and we talked about this since we were in our 20s, right? Like, I even knew what retirement was in my 20s. And so that little nugget was always in the back of my head. It wasn't necessarily I woke up and I was like, I can't wait to retire. It was more of, and kudos to Pete Bush, because he put this he put it better than I did. You want to have the ability to be able to retire if you can. I mean, I am way too type A to like I'll take a day off. I'll take a Friday off to just get stuff done around the house. And before you know it, my Friday's 6:30 to 5 p.m. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do there? So I'm way too type A. I do like to continue to challenge myself. And so I kind of felt like at some point, was I going to want to just do something different? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if anybody from the firm's listening, I'm not going anywhere tomorrow. But I have been pretty transparent in that I'm trying to retire by the time that I'm 50. So basically what happened is I now have a clearer path for that. And when I lined it up, it happened to line up right when I'm about 51. So it kind of worked out.
It's like 20 years from now.
Mm-hmm. Right, I wish. So anyway, so that's that. But part of it too was I really, really enjoy public speaking, which my husband thinks I'm the weirdest person. Do you like public speaking?
That's a complicated question.
Okay.
I'm mortified to have a podcast, but I find when we get into the conversation, the cameras don't exist, and I actually love it, because how often do you and I get to drink a glass of wine and just talk? I get so much anxiety leading up, because I also sing, but I don't like.
Oh, I didn't know you.
How do you not know this?
I didn't know you you sing for real.
Yeah, I was #1 baritone in the state of Louisiana.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's for real.
I mean, if that counts for anything. Which is so ironic, because I never bring that up, and I just broadcast it. That's the Roy. Anthony, can we edit that? That'd be great.
Alrighty, we're gonna have to.
And this is why.
Okay, because people want to hear you sing. Right?
Yes, it's
okay.
consonant. Now, but
I
can't
sing, so I think it's pretty cool.
2 funerals I have cantored here in the last couple of years, because my sisters are both amazing singers or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Now they're amazing. I am not on their level. Why the hell did we get into that? You're making me talk about things I don't want to talk about. The public speaking thing. God, what is in this wine?
Squirrel.
Yeah.
We both have ADD.
Yeah, we're chasing.
Because I'm just listening to singing. I've forgotten about what we were doing.
Same.
There you go.
Well, what I was going to say is, so I sang all through high school and college, or mainly high school. But I grew up in a house of performers. My dad played in a band, played guitar. We all sang. But my sisters were the true performers. I was more focused on athletics. But in high school, I did a good bit of that. But I always had anxiety whenever I'd do a solo. I mean, crippling anxiety, which was the only area of my life that ever bothered me. Never sports, never. Actually, public speaking was always easy for me. But singing felt more intimate. But when the music started, I just organically would perform, right?
Yeah.
The show goes on kind of thing. And so I've actually challenged myself here pretty good in the last few years with that, to where I'm singing at someone's funeral, which is, a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, and the last thing in the world you want to do is ruin that, right? And mess up the music. And so I think for me, I've taken that to where it's no longer quite the anxiety riddled part. The reason I bring it up is I think as I've gotten older, I've done so much speaking and so much company addresses. I want to say 7 years ago, you could literally just throw me in front of our company and I could riff for 20, 25 minutes and feel really good and really just on point and in tune with the audience. As I've gotten older, I think I've done it so many times that now I get in my head, like, I don't want anybody in the audience rolling their eyes being like, oh, here's Robbie talking again. Because with COVID, I was making videos every day because every day was different and every day was new.
Yeah.
So I think I got comfortable with it, but then I got really tired of hearing myself talk.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I started to question like how genuine it was. Like, I'm now being forced to do these videos, which I don't really want to do.
Were they internal or external? Or
They were internal, but
Yeah.
they were, put on SharePoint or whatever. I mean, people could access it. And then I started doing stuff on YouTube and all that. So I've always been comfortable public speaking in general, or giving speeches and things like that, toast at weddings and all that. That's never been a challenge to me, but it is ironic. As I've gotten older, that's actually become more challenging for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just like internal, or you think just speaking in general? Because I always say that, like, I'm like the rah-rah for the firm. Like when we do our quarterly team meetings, I'm like, oh, I'm totally gonna get up there and do that. But then I'm like, are people tired of listening to Melissa speak? Here she goes on her little cheerleader.
You have that little internal.
You get a
thought,
little,
right?
you get a little insecure, wondering like, are people gonna roll their? Oh, here she goes again.
Yeah.
She's super excited about traction.
It's so funny today. So I'll share. We had something at our firm today where we do these HR boot camps where Daniel Atkins, who's just an amazing, we're so lucky to have him, HR director, he puts together these little seminars that we bring our managers into. And today's was about feedback and reviews, because we have reviews coming up in a couple of months. Like to get ahead of that and just make sure our folks are just really boned up on like how Sigma does things, the Sigma way, why they matter, making sure they've got the skills to do it. They have any questions, it's a platform. Well, he asked me to go in there and kick it off. And I'm like, kick what off? And I mean, literally, I had a cup of coffee in my hand. I was walking by, and he goes, yeah, can you just kind of give a spiel about how you feel? I'm like, all right. Well, next thing I know, I'm 5 minutes into an impassioned, like, Braveheart, lead the troops kind of, I mean, I could feel it. Like, my heart rate was pumping. I was fired up. I was rah-rah. I'm like, what just happened? Is everyone in this room like, hey, bro, this is an HR meeting. What are you doing? Right? And Anthony was in there. He knows what I'm talking about. And then I left the room, and the next 20 minutes,
You thought about it.
I was so in my head, like, is that what was required for that? Like, where I didn't even think
I
about
would say that you probably thought about it more than they thought about it. What do you think? Okay, so I will tell you this about when I give presentations. So I have to give one to the LCPA has a women's conference in New Orleans in a couple of weeks. It's my boundaries keynote. It's funny, the girl reached out to me in hindsight. I have no idea how she even got my name. She just said, somebody brought you up. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm not nervous about that because I don't know who's gonna.
Strangers.
Exactly. I was way more nervous giving that presentation to you guys. One, because y'all know a lot. I was like, I'm gonna have hecklers in the audience, okay? Because like you and Steven, y'all know me and y'all know me very well. So that could probably be part of it too. That it's, to me, if I'm giving it in front of, I could give it to 1,000 strangers and I probably wouldn't think that much because I don't know any of them.
I think for
Which
me,
sounds bizarre because, public
No.
speaking is like the number one fear of most people.
yeah, I know. My dad had it. It was crippling.
Yeah. I just think I'm funny too. Like,
Yeah, well, that helps.
I'm here, everyone.
I think for me, if I'm aligned with the subject matter, if I'm connected like passionately, and I feel like, okay, I need to deliver this, the rest of it falls in place for me, and it's very organic, and I get very comfortable with
Yeah.
it, and I feel like I typically get the results I'm looking for there. Again, as the company has grown, the things that enter my mind now that maybe should have when I was younger are things like, well, there's people in this audience that are not going to like what I'm saying, or they think I'm a total idiot. That never occurred to me before. It was kind of a blind spot, right? To where now I almost have too much self-awareness.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm self-conscious giving a speech to the company, but it's definitely on my mind that there's someone I'm speaking to right now that is silently just saying, dude, can you please stop talking?
Maybe that person isn't a right person.
Well, and that's actually been
That's my
some of
unsolicited advice.
no, you're 100% right, and that's something I've really been exploring here recently. Is you know what it is my firm, and it is built, with my vision and strategy. Of course, we have this wonderful team that brings all that to life and is a massive part of that. But shouldn't the messaging be, here's who I am and here's what we stand for and here's who this firm wants to be, and you can either be a part of that or
You
get
can get
out?
on the bus or you
Like,
can get off the bus.
I'm
Yeah.
so convicted on that right now. So I didn't mean to turn it into that, but
But you've also grown. I mean, I feel like Sigma, 5 years ago is different than the Sigma today in terms of like the number of people.
2 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I came to Sigma in, was it 2004,
Okay.
5? I don't know. I've been here like 20
That's
years.
right, because you're older than me.
That's fair. Yeah, I think I started the day you were born. But we were 14 employees back in like, I want to say maybe 05 or 06, and now we're at like 270 and growing pretty strong. Multiple divisions. And we're just doing some of the coolest stuff that I never actually even envisioned us being able to do. So it is different. It is a different dynamic. And what's so interesting is 24 was a huge year for us. Our culture really came into question because we've always been unique. I've always been very proud of how different and quirky and committed to excellence and competitive, like all the wonderful core values we have always been very strong and authentic. But we went through massive growing pains last year. We changed the org chart. Instead of being super cohesive like we've always been, there started to be a little tension. We lost a handful of folks that we didn't intend on losing, which almost has never happened to us. And then we had a bunch of new people, and a lot of them came from the same companies, so they had kind of their own culture they were used to. So then I started to hear things like, we're going corporate, or the culture's changing. And I'm very sensitive to that because I was compelled to a leadership position because I work for places that didn't care about their people.
Right. And you're very passionate about the culture here.
And
it's not something that you take lightly.
Extremely. And I took that so hard last year. And then one day I woke up, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm negotiating with terrorists. Our culture, yes, is evolving. Yes, it's changing. But at the core of it, we're just making our offer bigger. And with that comes some modifications, does come some change. But I will not negotiate on the following things.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm in charge, that's my job. I'm a steward of that, and you have to hold me accountable to that. And yes, that is exhausting because it is a constant daily battle, but that's literally my job. And so, and this isn't about me, it's about you. But I do find that that's what's always connected us to, is being very clear on who we are and what we want to be and what we want our offer to be. And the reason you're a leader is because you bestow those things and you fight for them.
Yeah, and I don't have the energy to be fake on a daily basis and like to pretend to run an organization that I don't want to run. And I'll tell you, I have had to be very authentic too, just from a business perspective, specifically with Sentinel. I mean, our business, my competitors, and I don't know if you run into this because I know nothing about engineering, but my competitors can try to come out and be like cheaper, and then I'm getting asked to reduce my fees, and I have to stand my ground to where, no, this is the value that we're providing, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not going to apologize for charging what people would call a premium, what I think is fair. So I think that's both internal and external, like staying true to your values, because it's very, very easy to crumble and just do what you're supposed to do. what society tells you to do, what your competitors are doing. But in hindsight, I feel like me, and you might be able to say this about yourself, I've always challenged the status quo. And an example is when my husband and I decided we didn't want children. That was when I tell you, I could have written a book about what people told me whenever we were like, oh, we don't really want them. All the things that people decided that they needed to tell me with that particular decision was very interesting to me. It upset a lot more people than it upset myself.
I'm sure,
for sure. But I've always challenged the status quo, and I do think that part of that is just inherent in me. I mean, my mom, if she listened to this, she'd probably be like, yeah, you sure did. You sure did challenge the status quo. But I think that's just inherent in me. I'm never going to settle for doing things the way we've always done them, for creating parameters or rules within the firm that make no sense whatsoever, but it's what we're supposed to do, and it comes into like a corporate kind of structure. So I think to me, that's just kind of part of it. It's really just staying true to yourself.
Yeah.
Would it be easier sometimes to say, okay, let me just lower my fees, or this is what we should do. We're a 270-man group, going to be 350. This is what we're supposed to do. I'm Robbie. I'm not going to care about people that much. My life will be, because let's just be honest. Our life would be easier.
Way easier.
If you didn't care.
Yeah.
But that's not ingrained in it. We physically and mentally cannot do that.
Well, life becomes bland and meaningless to people
Doesn't
like
seem
you and
fun.
I, right? And I think being that stubborn and that committed prepares you for the sheer awfulness of being in this position certain days. Because sometimes a competitor does something that is not correct.
Right.
And they're selling maybe your people or your clients on it, and they maybe get a win or two.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get in your feels about that or question, should we have done that differently or whatever. And there's a fine line between having the courage to look in the mirror and go, do I have a blind spot here? Is this something I need to work on? That between, no, we have vetted this out. This is the way we're doing it. It is the right way. We've got to weather this storm, right? And last year I felt like we got hit with all the things in a very short amount of time, to where every day I'm having to show up and have my own team hold together like, time out. That is not sustainable. We've tried that before. They're new. What they're saying is bullshit and it won't work. They're like, yeah, but they just took 2 more of our people. I'm like, well, maybe those 2 people weren't the right people for us.
Exactly.
But when then another person leaves the next week, they're like, man, they're pulling at a thread. I'm like, if we are that soft and inauthentic that we're going to lose to them, then maybe we shouldn't be in business.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to feel defeated. And I feel like, and so part of the challenge of being in a leadership position is like some days when you just want to say, oh my God, Rome is burning.
Right.
You really can't. You kind of have to pull it together. I will tell you that, not to throw a whole bunch of book suggestions out there, but the book, The Gap and the Gain.
Love it.
Yeah, that's because the
Absolute
gap
fabulous.
People are leaving. Okay, now we're living in the gap, but what are we going to gain from that? And now, and I feel like, Robbie, the older I get, as cheesy as this sounds, the more I learn from mistakes that have been made, or the more that I just try to not get upset about things I have absolutely no control over. Now when somebody leaves our firm, was it us? Was it them? We do an exit interview and all those things, and really try to improve. But sometimes there's just not the right person in the right seat. It's just not a culture fit at some particular point. The saying that people leave bosses, they don't leave jobs. I take that to heart, but I do think that there's just sometimes it's just not a good fit. Like they weren't a good fit from the get-go. We just had blinders on, and we needed someone, and so we filled that position. So it's the people are the hardest part.
Yeah, and people are always a challenge, right? Yeah. I do think if you love being in the leadership position and your growth mindset and you're open to learning from other people, and you've had a lot of coaching, I've had a lot of coaching, some of that's been the same coaching. For me, with each rep, like going through a year like I had last year, like we had last year, and now where we're at, which is we're on the precipice of just uncharted territory for us, and quite honestly, any other engineering firm in the history of Baton Rouge. We're ready for that because we were tried.
Yeah.
And to me, it just instills more kind of a quiet confidence in, and guess what? There's going to be another barrage of bullshit that comes at us, and we're just going to go, we've been through this before. We're going to be fine. And that's where like that visionary strategic. You have to be the one that pokes your head up and goes, it's super easy to sit here in our feels about this thing that happened today, but where I'm looking at is over there.
Yes.
And as long as y'all don't get off track and stay focused, we're going to get there. But don't get distracted by the bullshit, right? And that's where I've felt like I'm leaning more and more as a leader, is less on the day-to-day, less on trying to solve every damn problem because I've done it before, and more on as the size we're at and the things that we're capable of, I really need to make sure I am continuing that we're doing this.
Yes.
And then I have this amazing team that gets us through this,
Correct.
right? And so to me, it's very special. And I will say, the more stuff you and I get into, like, I mean, you're on all these boards. I'm, doing shit like making wine and own a card shop. We're just type A active people. So the answer to the retirement question is you and I will never retire.
Right, exactly.
It's what does life shift to?
What's next?
Right, that keeps us active. And I think for us, that's just super important to understand about ourselves, and also important to understand, well, there is a window that closes on the current position we're in.
Yes.
And just how do you build it? It's super important to think about when you're in this position. It's one of the first things you need to consider is what happens if you get hit by a bus, for example, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that when you kind of going back 20 minutes ago, we started talking about like my path. I mean, my teaching was one thing. I just got like an itch to do something else, right? And I always tell people, like, I loved St. Joseph Academy. Like, I loved teaching there, but I wanted to do something else. And so that's kind of how I can already tell I'm going to feel that, and that I'm passionate, have a message to share with the world. And that whether that's keynote speaking, consulting, I just think that both of us have messages that we can share that are our unique ability, to be honest.
Yeah.
And not everybody necessarily has that, and that's okay. But we are always going to have an itch to do something else and be challenged in a different way.
Well, it's so funny because my motivations have changed quite a bit. I've always you can call it arrogance or just ignorance, but I've always been confident in saying things to people, like just trying to educate them or whatever. Then as I gained success, I'm like, okay, nobody wants to hear from me. And it took people like Sarah or Anthony saying things like, no, dude, like you need to share these, right? And I challenge you with a lot of that too, of you're actually quite unique and people are dying to hear how you got here, what makes you you. I got asked a question the other day, and I thought about you for this podcast. Somebody asked me, how did you get curious about growth? Like, what made you consciously go, I want to grow? What makes you driven? And I honestly, in that moment, couldn't answer the question. Just like, because I always have been.
Yeah, I think it's a growth. So there's also a book. I think it's the growth mindset versus.
I think our friend Steve Meller might have something to do with
that. And I think it's a mindset. I don't necessarily think it's a choice. I think it's a mindset.
Yeah.
And it's inherent to both of us. Like,
Yeah.
we're not just gonna. So I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm kind of, I don't want to say jealous, but I envy the people that are like, I'm good at what I do, and this is what I want to do for the next 30 years. Because I'm like, you must not be as exhausted as I am. I mean, I wear myself out.
Probably don't have as much anxiety.
Probably more stable. Maybe not ADD. I don't know.
Not quite as crazy.
But we can't change ourselves, and we are who we are. So.
No. We're coming to the end of our time here. There's a very important question I have to ask you.
Oh, gosh.
If you were an animal, what would it be? Or what is your spirit animal?
I feel like I got asked this one time, and I don't even remember what I said.
Do you want me to say words so you can think about it?
If I was an animal, I think I was. Oh.
Think of it in the context of this. I'm Rhino. You're on the podcast of Wino with Rhino. Rhino has all kinds of deep history and sentimental meaning to me, but also the characteristics of the rhino completely resonate with me.
I don't know if I've ever researched this question to be able to answer it. What animal would I be? Because I would say I'd love to be a dog because my dogs have a great life, but I don't necessarily think it's because they're ambitious. They just have
noticed you wag your tail when I walk in a room, so I appreciate that. Well, I mean, okay, so let's say dog. So loyalty is big with dogs.
Yeah.
Very loyal. Most of the ones I come across are very affectionate. Also extremely protective, like violently over their loved ones.
That's true. That's okay.
Yeah. Can be very aggressive if they need to be.
Fair.
But typically just want to have joy and wag their tails and be around their people.
Okay, so dog.
Dog, there you go. Rhino and dog. We need to figure out which dog, because calling you dog is weird.
Yeah, that is weird. I don't know the answer to
Like
that
a
yet.
border collie or something.
For some reason, actually, the first animal that came to mind was giraffe, and I'm like, I don't know where that came. Like when you said animal, what I pictured was a giraffe, but I have absolutely no idea why. I might have to go ask ChatGPT. Why did my subconscious, when Robbie and Olivia asked me this question, go to a giraffe of all animals? Like,
Yeah, we're gonna have to research that. That's some deep, like, couch diving shit right there.
maybe Steve Miller will know.
Well, this has been awesome.
Thank you,
Thank you
yes.
so much. Honored that you came on the show. It wasn't too bad, was it?
No, this is great. It's the highlight of my day.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much. Latest episode of Rhino with Wino.
Thank y'all.
Cheers.